Hello and welcome to our 8th grade parent and student info session. This is typically done in person. I'm Ms. Scroy, the counselor for students with the last names S through D. Let's go ahead and get started by introducing some of our staff members. First up, our principal is Ms. DeRito. Next, our assistant principals, Mr. Wagner and Mr. Duggar. Our Dean of Students, Ms. Basham. Our athletic director, Mr. Staggs. Guidance staff, we're starting students A through D. You will have Miss Presley. Students last name E through K will have Mrs. Lund. Last names L through R will have Mr. Heils. And then students last names S through Z will have me, Miss Scroy. Lastly, we have a registrar, that is Mrs. Urban, and she handles any of the record keeping, transcripts, things like that. And then she can also do any Skyward updates with address, phone number, email, things like that. Okay, so let's talk about scheduling first. So your counselor has entered all of your required classes into Skyward already. You can go ahead and go in and see those. I'll be talking about that later on in the presentation. Those requests cannot be changed by students. Math, science, social studies, and English will be based on what you're taking in 8th grade. Some of those classes can be earned in 8th grade. Students can earn algebra 1, biology, quite a few other credits. Grades earned and test scores are used to determine placement. We do have a couple different levels in math and English, and social studies has some pre-AP. So those grades that you're earning right now are going to potentially place you in a higher level English, math, or social studies class. As always, required classes always have to come first. Those are what the diplomas are based on, those academic classes. The scheduling process is going to be different this year. Students will have a paper form that will be turned in once the counselors meet with students. We plan on going to Woodin next week to meet with 8th graders, discuss the scheduling process, answer any questions. We will be meeting with them during the success period. We will be having a paper form and we'll collect those after the meeting. Those requests will be entered into Skyward as soon as we can get them in. The form that will be used will be sent along with this video link so students and parents can take a look at what's available ahead of time before we meet with them. Students will have until March 19th to email any request changes. If students log in and see a request that maybe they changed their mind, they can email us until March 19th. And then after spring break, those students will be able to view their requests after all of the changes. And from then they will have until May 1st to make any changes to those requests in Skyward. They just need to email their counselor. We do have a May 1st deadline. All classes have to be added by May 1st. After May 1st, the requests are locked in and counselors start the scheduling process. We start building where classes are actually going to go. Students need to be constantly checking email. If there are any issues with requests or if a class is canceled, we might need to email the student and we need to make sure that they can contact us back. So it's very, very important to make sure that you are checking your email. There are no schedule changes after May 1st. A schedule change is only allowed if a class was added by counselor error or a class has failed. Now we're going to talk about the different diploma types. There are 3 different diplomas that students are able to opt into. I'd call them diploma tracks at this point. So we're going to go into what all of those mean. So the Core 40 is on the left. Core 40 with academic honors is on the top right. And then Core 40 with technical honors is on the bottom right. So starting with the Core 40, that is 40 credits. Typically in a trimester, students can earn 5 classes times 3 trimesters is 15, times 4 years is 60 credits. Typically students will earn more than 40 credits, but it has to be the right 40. Academic honors requires a little bit more. It does require completion of the Core 40 So you do need to complete this diploma, and then you also need to complete these requirements up here. So the academic honors consists of world language requirement, extra math credits, 2 fine art credits, dual credit or AP, and all grades have to be a C- or higher. That diploma does require 47 credits. For the technical honors, students are going to be completing the core 40 and then everything in this bottom right box. The technical honors require 6 college credits in a career and technical pathway. All grades also C- or higher, and that one consists of 47 credits. Typically, technical honors is something that could be added on junior or senior year when students get to those higher level vocational and career technical classes. Academic honors can be started as soon as their 8th grade year if a student is taking Spanish in 8th grade. Students can earn both academic and technical honors. So if that's something you're interested in, just take a note that the requirements are pretty similar. Another welcome change, students will not take ISTEP in high school. They will still take the 8th grade ISTEP. However, there will be some type of graduation exam during the student's junior year. We don't have a lot of details, but we do think that that exam will look somewhat like the SAT. So as of right now, no ISTEP in high school, but there will most likely be an exam junior year. So nothing to worry about right now. So the state has authorized graduation pathways, and this is going to be a really quick overview. And we talk about pathways all the time in scheduling meetings, so students are going to hear this all the time. So the grad pathway consists of 3 boxes. Box 1 is a student will earn a high school diploma. Box 2, they will learn and demonstrate employability skills. And box 3, they will meet a post-secondary readiness competency. So the students have until they graduate to complete this graduation pathway. Again, here are the requirements. Box 1, complete a diploma. Box 2, complete 1 experience. That is project, service, or work-based learning. A lot of different things meet those requirements. And then box 3, demonstrate that you're going to do something after high school. So this is just a quick overview. These are the diplomas that are offered. Then box 2, these different experiences. These experiences can come from if a student has a job, if they are interested in the human and social services, if they're interested in auto tech, all kinds of things. So lots of different things meet that requirement. And then these post-secondary readiness competencies, a student just needs to complete one of these. So they have plenty of time to complete these. They do not need to complete their graduation pathway until the day they graduate high school. So students have 4 years to complete their pathway. Students can start working on their pathway as soon as the summer after 8th grade year. So coming up in June, if a student has a job during that time, they can meet that box 2 requirement of having work-based learning. So they have, like I said, they have plenty of time. This is nothing to worry about right now. It's just something to keep in the back of your mind. There are several documents to verify experiences. There's a rewind form. There's a job form for students. JAG is a program students can do in junior or senior year. Internship for senior year if they are in a sport at any time during the 4 years in high school. Vocational form, and then if you do publications, so if you're part of our student media program. So you'll hear a lot of information about graduation pathways in the coming years. Right now, we're just kind of putting the thought in your mind. And as always, we are happy to answer any questions with graduation pathways. Okay, so now we're going to talk about checking your requests in Skyward. First step, log into Skyward. So make sure that your student has access to Skyward. The students do need to put in their own requests. Excuse me, the students do not put in their requests. They can view their requests. Number 2, you're going to select the schedule button, which is right here from the left-hand menu. And then step 3, you're going to click on your name, course requests for 21-22 in MHS. And then when you do that, this screen pops up. So it will not allow you to add any classes, but it'll show you what your counselor has added for you. It'll show you total requests scheduled, total credits. So some next steps. Every student is required to take the classes that are already entered into Skyward. Those are your core academic classes. They are required. Every student has been scheduled with General English 9. English placements may change once the English department concludes their assessments. They use all kinds of data points to make sure that students are properly placed in English. So the English 9 may just be a placeholder for some. Again, there are no class changes after May 1st, only changed if a class was added in error or if a student fails. However, classes replaced after day 3 of a trimester will result in a WF. This class counts as an F on your GPA. So it stands for withdraw fail, but it does factor in as an F. If a student does drop a class, they will be required to be placed in an academic class, accredited class, since there are no study halls. We do not offer study halls at the high school. So make sure that you are checking your requests. The best way to ensure that you're in the right classes is to check. If a counselor makes an error, we will try and fix it. So just reach out to your counselor if there are any questions. So we do get this question a lot, why no class changes? Here's a couple reasons. With the master schedule, it is really, really hard once we start building. Since we are on trimesters and there's 5 class periods every day, there's a lot of classes that we would have to manipulate. A lot of the times you have to complete part 1 before part 2 of the class. There are some exceptions just because some classes aren't always building on top of each other. Like you cannot have Algebra 1B without taking Algebra 1A because that class does build. Electives are typically full, especially as we roll into 3rd trimester. All of our electives are full. We try and max out our teachers' abilities, and sometimes it just comes down to seats in the classroom. Counselor time restraints. We don't have all day to change classes. If we were to do that, it would be literally all day of changing classes. We do other things as well. We work with transcripts, prerequisites, and things like that. So really no schedule changes. It takes so long to build the master schedule, and it's such a delicate process that just make sure that you're picking the classes that you're really interested in. And if you have any questions about what a class is, email your counselor and we can definitely try and find the answer. With regards to teacher changes, typically teacher changes are not permitted. Math teachers can be changed for consistency at the student or parent's request. Counselors can attempt a teacher change in any subject if the student has struggled with that teacher in the past. However, I will like to say that we can try. It's not always a guarantee. If you have struggled with a teacher in the past, you have to have had that teacher. You can't come in and say, hey, my sister didn't like Mr. So-and-so, so I can't have him. You have to at least have the teacher and then not done well to request a change. Freshman requests and schedules. So currently your freshman requests are visible on Family and Student Access. Email your counselor if something doesn't look right or if you have any questions. Typically 2 weeks before school starts, your current classes, your 8th grade classes will be replaced with your freshman schedule. Student athletes. This is really, really important. If you are a student athlete, remember the student part comes first. So you do need to get your academics in line before you can be an athlete. So for athletes, you must be passing your classes in the tri before your sport starts to be eligible to practice. However, with day 1, if you're in football, for example, your sport starts right at the end of school. So you would not need to be passing all of your 8th grade classes necessarily. Everyone gets a free pass for 1st trimester. However, if you are a student that plays basketball, you must be passing all of your classes in Tri 1 before basketball starts in Tri 2. Lastly, this is all of the counselor info arranged by alphabet. It is email and then phone extension. I will like to say that Mrs. Lund is retiring at the end of this year, so she will be doing all of your scheduling, but next year we will hopefully have another counselor that will take over that alphabet. I would also like to point out our counseling website. The link is right there, and this will be sent out. All of the different tabs that you can get to. Academics is where our course description book is. This PowerPoint and video will also be stored there. If you have any questions about being a student athlete, scholarships and financial aid, we do have Mr. Wagner in the Senior Success Center. He does handle all of our scholarships and financial aid information. Testing information would be SAT, ACT, things like that. So we are at the end of our PowerPoint. Be on the lookout for more information from your student's counselor in the coming days. We look forward to meeting students at Woodin next week, and can't wait for you guys to come to the high school. So thank you so much for watching this, and have a great day.